stuff for you. So great. Thank you for hitting record there. So today we're going to be taking a quick view of everything that we've updated over the summer. We worked really hard. Hopefully you've seen the new reports. There's some cool new features embedded in some of the new content. So I want to make sure you see all the updates. We're going to be talking a lot about implementation in the classroom. This session is specifically geared for back to school. So there's a lot of like benchmarking and things that we're going to talk about so you can get baseline data and then move into, instruction and have a really good view of where you're going to end up at the end of the year. So with that said, for those of you who are new, I'm going to go ahead and just give you a quick background into who we are, and then we'll move into what has changed. EduSmart is a Texas-based science-only company. We only do science, and we are based here in Texas. We are written by Texas teachers for Texas teachers. Some of our writers are actually here in our session with us today. So, you've got everyone here. Any questions you might have, we're happy to address. We cover the full 5E lesson cycle. We are an adopted curriculum in our own right, and now we are used as a complement to your adopted curriculum. This means that any component that you take, any component you use, is fully aligned with the TEKS and gives you exactly what you need for wherever you are in the lesson cycle, whether you're at your explore phase, evaluate, plug in whatever component you need, and it will fit within your adopted curriculum. EduSmart specializes in a visual-based science literacy. We support emergent bilinguals, emergent readers. We firmly believe that kids need to have multiple visual representations. They need to see it over and over and over again. They need to see it in many different ways. They need to hear it. They need to experience it, not just read or have one exposure to it. So that's kind of where you'll see EduSmart shine, is that multiple visual expressions for them to be able to do the science and learn the content in lots of different ways. So with that said, we have a bunch of updates to share with you. Instead of me talking the whole time, I'm going to go ahead and show you a quick video, and then we'll go in and show some of the updates.
The new school year is back, and we have a lot to unpack. EduSmart now boasts some new and exciting features, all designed based on feedback from you. Access reports directly and view them in the new compact format. View reports by group and compare students' performance at one glance. Say "Hola" to localized language toggle. Switch seamlessly between resources and languages for a more comprehensive classroom experience with the individual language toggle feature. Review time just became more robust. 2 new resources, the Review Fill-In and the AI-graded review journal, have been added and clubbed with student review in their own group for more rounded revisions. K2 readers too got a touch-up and are fully integrated into HTML, also printable as PDFs. And finally, we added another star to our offering with inline and clustered questions in STAR practice and unit assessments for grade 5, 8, and high school biology. With EduSmart, you're never on your own. We believe in science instruction that is simple, and that is possible through you. We are your science partner. Simple, smart, teacher-centered. That's EduSmart. Wishing you the very best for the new school year.
All right, so that's just a kind of basic overview of a few of the updates. We also have, we're going to take a little bit of a high-level approach today to kind of show you some overall themes within EduSmart. Before we get to that, we are looking for nominations for our EduSmart Teacher of the Year. This is a new promotion, a new kind of recognition that we're doing. The nominees will be featured in these webinars over the next coming months. They'll also be featured in our newsletter and at our CAST sessions. CAST this year, we're working on a really exciting afternoon with EduSmart, and we want teacher voices to be the loudest ones in the room. So we want all the nominees. The first 10 nominations will actually receive a really amazing EduSmart t-shirt. I think it's probably the fun guy one. Y'all know how punny we are around here. So get those nominations in. This is the QR code. If you decide it, it's a super quick nomination form. And that way we can get some really amazing teachers who are using EduSmart and have them share how they are using it and what the best tools and the best tricks and the best ways that they can use it in the classroom. So please nominate. You'll also see this nomination form in our newsletters and all over our social media. So looking for that, our EduSmart Teacher of the Year will receive a classroom makeover. So it's worth it for you to get the punny t-shirt. It's worth it for our Teacher of the Year to get a classroom makeover. So looking forward to all those amazing teacher stories. Next up, kind of thinking through EduSmart, like I said, on a higher level. We're not going to have time today, and really not the purpose of today is to go into every single component. What I'd really like to focus on is the overall themes and how to use EduSmart as a teacher in different settings. First of all, even though we're going to be talking a lot about what components are best for different features or different uses, know that EduSmart does not limit you in how you use our content. So the new review components, we have a review fill-in and a review journal prompt. They're really designed to be assigned to the student and done individually. That doesn't mean you can't do it whole group or small group. Everything we have is completely up to you how you assign it and how you use it with your kids. So whether you choose to print it, choose to do a whole group, or choose to assign it to your kids, you have full control over how that happens. We also have built-in support at every level for our kids. So these are things that you don't have to turn on or turn off. It's automatic for all of our learners, including closed captioning. So every time that they are hearing text, they're also seeing it written on the screen. Text to speech, anywhere that our students would be working independently. So readers, interactivities, all of our simulations, things that are really designed for the kids to do independently are automatically brought with, have text to speech built in. There's a little speaker button. The kids just have to hit the speaker and it will automatically read the text to them. It automatically reads all the directions. So we have some kinder teachers here today. We're really glad to have y'all. For kinder, we know most of the content you use is going to be whole group. But there are some components like our word explorer and the interactivities, which is like a gamified version of instruction. They're designed to be assigned and done by the students, maybe in a station setting. So all the instructions are automatically read to the kids. They don't have to be readers in order to access the content, and the instructions kind of walk them through exactly how to handle the content. Also, the student dashboard, if the kids can hit the play button, they're good to go. So we designed like the interactivities, for example, are usually done on tablets. Our little fingers might have trouble dragging and dropping. So we've really designed it specifically for younger learners to be able to access the content, and then following that up to every grade level, having those built-in supports for the kids. So just know when the kids get in there themselves, they are supported as they're going through the process of learning science. So we want to talk a little bit about STAR, not just for our 5th, 8th, and bio, but also the new item types. We know that across the board, across the state, most of our kids didn't do real well on a lot of those new item types. So the non-multiple choice, and now there's 2 new item types. Inline text, which is where the student has a drop down. It would be like in the middle of a sentence, there's a drop down and they have 3 or 4 words that they can choose from. And then also the cluster questions, which are new. So we encourage you to assign these components out now and let the kids be practicing them in a very low risk kind of way. We have worked to include even AI grading for short constructed response, but it's not grading as like a summative grade. It's very growth oriented. So the kids are going to get feedback that says, hey, might look at this part of it. This is what you did really well. This is where you need to focus. Everything's very growth oriented. So the more they're practicing these item types consistently throughout the year, the better off they'll be at the end of the year come STAR. And these items are across the board. So it's going to support other content areas as well. And with that, we also have, as a reminder, for those of you in 5th, 8th, and bio, we do have 2 full length STAR practice tests. those are going to be really great baseline data. Start them now, do the quizzes. So if you started with the STAR practice and then consistently use quizzes, what you're building is our progress monitoring. Now, I will say progress monitoring is changing just slightly. It's going to be even more useful. By the end of the month, we'll have it updated. All the data is going to be preserved. So whatever you do now or have done up until now isn't going to change. We will keep all that data. It's just the way you can access it, like filtering and using the reports. We're improving that a little bit still. But what this does is every time the student has been tested on a standard, it's like a snapshot, how the student is doing by student, by standard on every component. So this is showing me by the STAR Smart and their grade, the class, and then I can click on the class and see on an individual student basis exactly how they're doing on each TEK. Man, if you use this consistently with EduSmart and all of our testing, so we have unit test, well, actually we'll get into the different kinds of assessments we have in just a minute, but if you use the different types of tests, you'll have a full picture come end of the year, review time, and you'll be able to identify exactly the student's strengths and weaknesses to use that intervention time even more effectively. So hopefully you're looking forward to STAR Ready. That was a huge success last year. We had teachers getting 16-point gains, 20-point gains over teachers who were not using EduSmart. So we're really excited about the data that's come back from that. So keep an eye out for STAR Ready as we go through the course of the school year. As it is the beginning of the year, we do want to focus on some really helpful teacher support documents that we have, some built-in supports for teachers. So we know that, you might have some brand new teachers on your hall, you might have some long-term subs, some of those kind of challenges, maybe teachers who just never taught science before, and now suddenly they're science teachers. So we wanted to put together all the different teacher supports that we have. And I'm actually going to go ahead and jump into our platform and talk through just a few of these. I will use kindergarten, and I'm sorry, I forgot I had adjusted this down. Let me get that a little bigger. We'll use kindergarten in honor of our kinder teachers who are here today. So when I click into any tile, the first tile you're going to see here is our teacher resources. Now, if you're a fan of the TEKS guide, TEKS resource guide, this is a great complement to that. It's a little bit more succinct. It's going to start with exactly what you as the teacher need to know and tells you all of the resources that we have available to you. It's going to list out all the vocabulary that you might need. So here's our vocabulary. Common misconceptions, a way to get ahead of your kids as you start this instruction. The vertical alignment piece, we still have, the TEKS are still fairly new, so it's really critical to know what you're teaching and how it relates to the full process. And then essential questions. So these are great. I consider this mastery. If my students can answer these questions, I know that they've mastered the content. I might throw these out as a conversation starter. We have 2 minutes before we're lining up for lunch. Hey, tell me about this. So it's a great way to see that, exactly where your kids are at. And then, of course, it has all of the teacher documents. So if I were to print this out and put it into a notebook with all the units, you're going to have a printed teacher resource, right? So they're just there for you. Know that there's some great stuff in here also, all of our labs. There are some exit tickets in some of them. The IM teacher documents is all here for you. Okay, so that's your unit teacher guide. Again, if you have new teachers, if you have maybe teachers who are just not science teachers, this would be the place to start. For our lower grade levels, they're available at every grade level, but our youngest learners often do really well with the print version of the workbook, all of the content. We have put that together for you so you can print out everything all at once, and then you would have a copy of the written passages and then all of the documents for the kids. It's simple to, have that all together in one place. Now, if you don't want to do the entire unit at once, each of the components individually has a print button. So you can just print one, or you can print the whole unit all at once. There's some other great type of support here for you. I highly recommend you check it out. These are lots of useful things that you can start with. I want to show, I'm going to go to 7th grade and just show another version of that unit teacher guide so you can see what it looks like in the upper grade levels. Same format. It's going to have the background for you as the teacher, all the vocabulary that's necessary, common misconceptions, your vertical alignment piece, and then essential questions. Now here, there's some additional components. Of course, it still has all of the teacher documents, but it also has just some really, really great exit tickets. So if you look here, well, let me turn it. These are exit tickets that are found for every IM, every instruction module. You have some exit tickets in the unit teacher guide. So look for those, check them out. Again, all of that's in the unit teacher guide. So we start there because new teachers need a little extra support. We actually work with a lot of teacher candidates at different universities, and that's how they learn their science too. So, it's there for you to be able to go in and get your background and feel confident and comfortable as you begin instruction. The next kind of resources that I want to cover are the assessments. So again, we're talking about if you plan now, if you start now and use all of these different types of assessments, it builds up into some really great progress monitoring. And that's crucial regardless of what grade level you're in. We want our kids to cover their content and show growth over the course of the year. So this is a really good way to do that. We have 4 levels of, and this is straight test, right? These are just the assessments. So of course, we have journal prompts and written type assessments as well. Engineering design challenges are great, like summative kind of assessments, but these are the actual tests that are included. We have quizzes that are multiple choice. They're either 5-question multiple choice in the lowest grade levels or 10-question in grades 3 and up. These quizzes currently cannot be reassigned, but that features will be here back. We're pulling it back by the end of the month. So we've actually had a lot of people reach out to us that they're like, hey, I used to be able to reassign my quizzes. What happened? It's coming. I promise it'll be here by the end of the month and you'll be able to reassign those quizzes. We were updating our entire reports pages, and that component just took a little extra time to build in. So rest assured it's coming. All the quizzes do have the built-in text-to-speech. So there's a speaker, it reads the test question and answer choices for the kids. And then these are quizzes. This is like a weekly quiz. It's kind of a lower depth of knowledge, level 1 or 2. So it's not going to be the super in-depth, take 5 minutes to read a single question kind of thing. We also have unit tests. These are going to be a little bit higher depth of knowledge. These will be the STAR formatted. So you'll see all those new STAR item types within the unit somewhere. It's not obviously on every single question or every single test, but you'll find them throughout the platform as you go through the year. So there are 5-question STAR formatted assessment questions. And then for our tested grade levels, we also have reporting category and full-length STAR practice test. Or for biology, we have a full-length EOC practice test. So all of those are available. They are blueprinted just like the STAR test. So 75% multiple choice, 25% all the other item types. They'll include all the new test questions like the inline text and cluster questions. Speaking of cluster questions, that is a new kind of component this year. And our readers, hopefully you're already familiar with this component, but our readers are an excellent way to practice those STAR cluster questions. So a cluster question technically is a single stimulus and then multiple questions related to that stimulus. And it may cover different TEKs. It does not have to all be on the same TEK. If you open up our readers and then move to split screen, you'll see a format that looks very, very similar to what the kids are going to see on the STAR test, not just in science, but in their other content areas too. So this makes it really easy for them to be able to use the text or the maps or the graphs or whatever it happens to be on the screen and use that for text evidence as they answer the questions. Now, all of our readers are cross-curricular. So they're going to ask questions about both the ELA standards and the science standards. So like this one is, author's purpose, text structure. And then it also asks questions about the periodic table or whatever that topic happens to be. So pro tip here is get your kids in the habit of, as soon as they open up the reader, move to split screen, and then they have that 5-question quiz. Now, for those of you who are here, we're going to give you a little preview. You get the advance notice. We're moving to where the readers are auto graded with AI grading by next month. So very, very soon you'll see AI graded on the readers. You won't even have to look at it. It'll all take care of that for you. So we're really excited about that. For our early ed teachers, the readers are exactly the same format. Exactly the same content as before, but we have updated the format. So now it looks much more like what you just saw for the upper grade levels. And it still has that same 5-question quiz, including the short constructed response. Every grade level, we want the kids writing in science, like just build that in from the ground up and let them know that writing is science, right? That's a skill that scientists have to have, and we want to really develop that skill. So starting in kinder, we start reading and writing in science. One of the great things about these, of course, it is accommodated with all the text-to-speech, just like before. So the kids, if they're non-readers, they still can access the content. But there's also, now you can have them highlight and translate this into like 20 something, almost 30 different languages, right? So if you have students who are non-native English speakers, they have lots of options to be able to access that. They can listen to just a single word, and they can even access a dictionary. So they'll be able to look up a word if there's something that they don't understand. Lots of accommodations, all the different, dyslexia accommodations that they would need. It's all built in here. So this is a great way for the kids to practice those cluster questions. And again, it's a really low risk, kind of just growth oriented way without going, okay, guys, we're going to practice for the STAR test. And everybody's like stress levels go off the charts. We're just doing something fun in science. And these readers are great. They're high quality nonfiction, great images, high interest. So they're a really good way to practice for that, both on the reading test as well as the science STAR test. But this is new kind of a format for our readers for the early grade levels. So hopefully y'all will like these. It makes it so much easier for the kids to be able to access and answer questions and all of that. So we're really excited about that. One more new feature I'm really excited to show you. Now, unfortunately, this is not every unit will not have these yet, but any unit that could be fair game on the STAR test. So anything from 3rd or 4th grade or 6th or 7th grade that could be fair game, and then everything on 5-8 and bio now has, under student review, we've added some additional activities. Now, this is kind of our thought process behind this was creating an independent student review experience. So we have the student review itself. If you're familiar with this, this hasn't changed. This is just a real tight, targeted review. And then we're going to have the fill in, which is tell me what you know. It's kind of a summary. And then we have a short constructed response. So what we feel like this would look like as far as our student review is independent review. I'm going to show you just a minute of this video.
Sean is collecting shells on the beach. Hey, that's a big one. The sand and shells form a mixture. Why is it called a mixture? A mixture is formed when two or more substances are combined together. Sean is
So I'm not going to show the whole student review, but it takes the instruction module, our direct teach component, and instead of having the built-in pauses for interaction and having the kids talking, now we're going to break in with a formative assessment question. Notice it has the accommodation for text to speech, lots of images and graphs. You'll find all the new item types here, like fill in, drag and drop, hotspot. Throughout the course of the library, you'll see those. And then another kind of high level EduSmart approach is we never want the kids getting frustrated. We don't want them reinforcing misconceptions. So they get 2 chances to get it right. After 2 chances, we prompt them with the correct answer. So a student uses to separate which physical property we are using taste, right? That's got to be
Try
it.
again.
So here we go, taste. That's my second incorrect attempt.
That's not it. Here is the correct answer.
And then we prompt them with not only what is the correct answer, but give them the justification. This is why it's the correct answer. So they're getting that just in time correction. They'll go through the video. That's like the reteach. And then the review fill in is a summary version of the text, right? There's a word bank. They use the word bank to answer the questions. A mixture is formed when 2 or more substances are combined. They retain their physical properties. And I'm just going to fill in a couple there. So I've done some of the work. I hit submit, and it's immediately graded with the review. Like here, these are correct. These are the ones you missed. So it's instant feedback for the kids. And again, it's a kind of a summary version, so a little bit higher level. And then we have the short constructed response. Again, you have the word bank, and it's just tell me about this concept. So here they're going to enter that short constructed response. And then this is AI graded for you. So you don't have to immediately go in and grade it. What happens is when the kid hits submit, it gives them a little image that says, yay, thank you for submitting. We'll get back to you. You as the teacher would go to the reports, and any of the reports, this is our new reports page, which we're really excited about. So I have all these content that the kids have done. And oops, that's the fill in. Sorry, I need the, let me find a playlist that has, sorry, hitting the wrong button there. I have a assignment I know that the kids have gotten. Notice here under the review journal, right? So this is like that review block. It's going to have the student review, the fill in, and here's the journal. And this shows that it's AI graded. When I go in and look, I have the student's response. Here's what AI said back to them. And if I approve, then I can accept and move to the next student. We've taken the approach that we don't want to take the teacher out of the equation. Yes, we want to grade it for you. We want to take that work, that burden off of you, but you need a touch on the kids. You need a touch point of knowing where their understanding is at. So you just look at it. Do you like this grade? If you do, accept and move on. If you don't like it, you can modify it. So if you're like, no, that's really not what I would have said, modify the grade. And this is off of a 2-point scale, just like the STAR test will be. So it makes it really great practice for short constructed response. So again, all of that is found in this student review block. Assign out all 3. And I don't know if you noticed there, but back on reports, when I clicked on, I go back to that assignment, the reports it's going to be giving an overall grade. So it's a averaged grade. So you can really get a good view of exactly what the kids are doing. Okay, so we encourage you to check that out. That is the new review block. You'll notice hopefully the big toggle here between English and Spanish. So for all of our kindergarten through 5th grade, all the instructional components are available in both English and Spanish, and we've changed the toggle so that it's very easy to assign or project each component in their native language support. So look for that toggle. That was a huge update. One other fun update that we want to tell you about, this has just recently happened, is Word Explorer. So I'm going to go back to my content library. This is still mixtures and solutions. Word Explorer is now graded. So if you're familiar with this, this is our, just open that up. It's going to automatically read the directions real quick.
Select a flashcard to learn more about the science term. Once you complete the activity successfully, the flashcard will flip over and reveal the formal definition.
So hopefully you're familiar with this. It's our 3-part vocabulary building activities. They go through a multi-part, select and drag and drop activities, and then they get their formal definition. What's changed is that in the past, we just gave you all the data about it, like how many words they did, how long it took them, and how many times they had to reach out for help. Now we're giving them a percentage score. So what we heard from teachers is that the kids were kind of clicking through and not fully engaging. So now they're going to be accountable for it, and hopefully that will stop the clicking. If they get it correct on the first try, they get full points. If they get it correct on the second try, they get half points. If they don't get it correct or they have to reach out for help, they get 0 points. They can redo the activity over and over again as many times as they need to, but that does help keep them accountable. Now, Word Explorer in elementary or early elementary, sorry, let me go back to like first grade and just show you one. It's a little bit different. So it's not quite graded the same. Ooh, Word Explorer. This is definitely much more growth oriented, and the kids really do have to kind of click through every component in order to go through. But this is still an excellent station activity, especially if they're working like on a tablet, working in groups. You can complement the Word Explorer. This is the digital version. And then if I go back to the content, you can see, in the upper grade levels, we also have, I missed it there. Oh, I still went to the wrong grade, sorry. In the upper grade levels, we also have vocabulary cards. These are printed cards that will match up with the Word Explorer. So you get the image and the definition, and they kind of reinforce each other. So you can do both the digital version and the printed version. Okay. Going back to my PowerPoint real quick. Again, we talking through data collection, those data components, anything here in the formative column, we consider growth oriented, and the students can redo as needed to reach mastery. Anything in the summative column, this is where you as a teacher would need to reassign. Look for that button coming back. It'll make an appearance hopefully this week. Okay, so it'll be soon. You'll have that ability again. Other than that, I'm going to X out of this. I'm going to skip ahead just a minute because I do want to open up for plenty of time for questions. But we do know, absolutely, Ms. Garza, that is not a problem. We do want to, I know that, for many districts, this is a big initiative right now is getting the kids into writing. We just kind of wanted to put together all the different places within the platform that they can practice writing. Within the teacher resources, we have lots of opportunities, but every component generally has some kind of written short constructive response. The instruction module companion, that's like the note-taking guide. There's a journal prompt. Our actual, what we call journal prompts, they're making sense of phenomenon. They're kind of like the bookend from, you start with your anchoring phenomenon, and at the end, can the students explain what happened in that phenomenon after they've been through instruction, right? So you have your bookends. I showed you the readers, all those literacy-focused components really have a great opportunity for the kids to be writing. Every grade level, we want them writing in science. Remember, EduSmart is really great for sub-days. Put a sub-plan together that includes a playlist from EduSmart. You can include like the instruction module companion and the IM. That's that direct teach. So your kids are getting good instruction while you're gone. They can do the 3 parts of the IMC, and then there's a journal prompt for your exit ticket. Or if you're in more of an independent type, where you're at in your lesson cycle, then put together a quick playlist. You can have the student review, a reader or a word explorer, and a quiz. Boom, you have your whole class period plan. So if you look at your data and say, hey man, this is our low teak, this is something we probably need to hit on multiple times, that would be an excellent sub day. Kind of the same idea for absent students. You can quickly and easily create a playlist that will help the kids get caught up without you having to do any kind of crazy extra work or leaving a lab set up for like 4 days in your classroom so that stragglers can come through. There's lots of ways around that, especially with EduSmart's like interactivities and simulations. And I'm not going to spend long on this, but I just want to show you what that might look like. So if I was to create an absent student playlist, I would definitely include my student review. And notice I'm just adding to the playlist here. And I would probably want to incorporate maybe the word explorer. So I'm again clicking add to playlist and I'm getting feedback. This has been added. My reader and a quiz. All right, so they've got instruction, they've got practice, and now they have an assessment. That's it. That's all they need to make up from any work that they may have missed on this topic. Now here I'm going to click playlist, and it's the exact same process for assigning content that you're used to. So I'm going to enter my name. This is absent work for Leah. And then I will assign. I'm going to click on my student right here. Notice the radio buttons. Here's student 1, and I would go through the assigning process. And now I've given that student a completely personalized makeup for what they're doing. And yes, the question in the chat is, does EduSmart work with Google Classroom for me to add the EduSmart link? Absolutely. Let's show that just real quick. There's a couple ways you can do that. So if I want to just assign a single component, I'm going to click the assign button, and notice up here on the top, I have the way I was just showing you to assign, right? Where I just walk through the process of picking my groups or students. I can then copy and paste the URL. So if you wanted to use it that way, you can, or you can share directly to Google Classroom by clicking on the Google Classroom icon, and it will come up with your classes in Google Classroom, and you can just assign to whoever you want from there. It works really well with Google Classroom. It's easy for you. So again, these are just kind of new, like back to school kind of things that we wanted to hit on. You know, get those custom built emergency sub days or planned absent sub days. Get your quizzes and progress monitoring in, and then be sure and join us for our next webinar. It's going to be so much fun, y'all. I'm looking forward to this one. It is seasonal fun fall learning. So hands-on with EduSmart. We'll really dive into like how we do our hands-on activities, and then give you some really, really fun stuff to take back to the classroom the very next day with our next webinar. That's October 15th. You'll be getting notifications so you can sign up. We are going to require registration for the next for the rest of the webinars, but it's really super quick and easy. And then I want to share the link. Just look for us on YouTube. We have created a full library of help videos, like 2 to 3 minute help videos that are very helpful for individual topics, especially for someone new to EduSmart. There's walkthroughs, there's implementation, like a little 20-minute video, how to EduSmart, and then there's individual topic information like, how do I work the word explorer? Tell me about that component. How do I manage my groups? How do I assign content? Those little tiny help videos, and it is on our YouTube library. So just check us on YouTube. It's a quick and easy way to find help. And then finally, you do get credit for attending today's session. So we'd really like to give you credit for that. Please scan the QR code. It's a little Google form. The link to the Google form is also in the chat, so you can fill it out that way if you prefer. And what other questions do y'all have? Feel free to come off mute or ask any questions you might need in the chat. I want to give everyone plenty of time. Absolutely. Awesome. Okay, so we got some really great questions coming in. First of all, Ms. Glover, hello, first of all. Can teachers share playlists? Absolutely. So notice at the bottom of the component is the share button. So here we have, you can either assign content directly to the student, one component. I can share content with other teachers. When I click share, it's going to come up with a link here, a URL. I can copy this. I can mail it to other teachers. The key here is this would not be something you would assign to the kids. You would use the assign button if you want it to go to the kids. If you want it to go to other teachers, click share. Now, if you want to share a playlist, once a playlist has been created, it gets moved over to your desk. So your workspace is like your digital teacher desk in EduSmart. And here, let me find, I don't have any of those. So here, there's a share button here as well, and it works exactly the same. So whether you're assigning a single component or sharing a single component, it's either assign or share. And this is just going to give you a URL. You can copy and paste an email. Really simple. And I saw another one, Monica. Hi. Anyway, sorry, the videos are in Spanish. So if I click over to, let me go to an instruction module. So this is our direct teach, right? This is just instruction. I'm going to click over to Spanish and click play.
Tesh está ayudando a construir una nueva casa para perros para Lola en su patio trasero. Esos son muchos materiales.
So it's going to play in Spanish as well. Yes, and any of those videos you're able to assign in either language. So it's great. And you can see it's closed caption on the screen in Spanish as well, which is awesome. So great question. Thank you very much. Yeah, any component, and again, this is only through 5th grade. Sorry for our secondary teachers, but K through 5, all of our instructional components, there may be a couple like additional fun kind of things that aren't, but all the instructional components are available, both English and Spanish. And you can even create a playlist where you combine English and Spanish components. So, you know, we don't limit you on that. I could do the piece of instruction in English, in Spanish, and then I want to do some of the practice or the quiz or even a reader in English, and I can actually combine them together on, oh, this is too many components, but you can combine them on a single playlist. So you can really tailor to your emergent bilinguals at whatever level they need. Awesome question, Jill. What other questions does anyone have? I'll go back and put that up just to make sure everyone can get credit for attending today. You will receive your certificate within a day or two. So you'll receive that very shortly. We're happy to share any of the resources from today. We are recording. We'll post this on YouTube. And I saw a request to email the presentation. We're happy to share that as well. So anything you need, my email is leah@edusmart.com. I'm going to put that in the chat. If there's any of the resources that you would like from today, or if you're interested in additional training, like, hey, I'd like you to come in and do something similar to this for my staff, whatever, let me know. My whole job is training, so we're happy to support your district, your team, your campus, however y'all need. It's 2 minutes past time, but we sure appreciate y'all being here. We appreciate your time. We know it's